From very young, when I was very young, a child, my dream was to go into a rainbow. For me, it was so special, so majestic, and I always wanted to know what will happen. I always wanted to know what is inside a rainbow. And my mother was telling me that there is no rainbow. You cannot go inside it. It's just a vision. It doesn't exist. The minute you go close to it, it disappears. But when I was 65 years old, one day I was passing in one of the very empty roads in California. I was driving alone, and then there was a very black, dark cloud on my left side of the road, huge one. And then as I was going, suddenly a majestic rainbow against this dark cloud appeared. And it was so beautiful, full arc. And then the end of it, it would come right into my road, as if I could see it right there. And as much as my mother had told me that this does not exist, I got crazy and I thought, one opportunity to go into a rainbow, I'm going to go in it. And believe me, I drove so fast, like a crazy. Thank God no policeman was around, otherwise I would have got a very bad ticket. And I went on and on and on, and unfortunately there was no rainbow by the time I reached there. But still, I could not believe myself that still at this age, this imagination, still you want something that is impossible. You want something, you long for something that is impossible. And it doesn't matter how many times they tell us it is not possible. I'm sorry, I apologize for starting my talk in a dignified conference with a childish story, but I love a story for children, and all of my life I have written stories for children, and that's why I feel our life is a bit of a story. It's a story that we write. Either it's black and white, boring, and nobody listens to it, or it's beautiful and full of colors and full of excitement. And during 25 years of time that I had blessing and opportunity to be in Holy Land, and also in India, working closely with House of Justice, with the Baha'i World Center, and I had the bounty to often meet Amatul Baha Ruhiya Khanum. I would say one of the topics of my talk that I will have is 25 years. I will talk about that 25 years. I think it's day after tomorrow at same 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And during this period, at least, I don't know whether 100 times or more than 100 times, I heard from Amatul Baha Ruhiya Khanum that said to other individuals or to audiences, you can hear that also she said the same thing in New York Congress. You have the record of her talk that she talks to 30,000 Baha'is. And she said, I think what Baha'is need more than anything else is imagination, vision. And I always thought to myself, what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of vision? What is imagination? What is the thing that Khanum says we really need to say? She said that all other things we have, all other things is accessible to us. What we need is imagination. I was wondering why Jesus says that where there is no vision, people perish. Jesus says, where there is no vision, people perish. Baha'u'llah in Kalamat Makruna, in Hidden Words, he says, calling us, O son of wondrous vision. O son of wondrous vision. What vision? Baha'u'llah in Kitab Aqdas says, this is not a cause which may be made a plaything for your idle fancies, nor is it a field for the foolish and faint in heart. By God, this is the arena of insight and detachment, of vision and upliftment. By God, this is arena of vision. When we look at the dictionary about what is the meaning of vision, Webster says vision is the act or power of anticipation of what, of which will or may come to be. The power of anticipating which may come to be. But this is a very perhaps two-dimensional, of course you don't expect more than that from a dictionary, two-dimensional description of vision. Mr. Tahirzadeh, our distinguished Baha'i scholar and member of the House of Justice, always used to tell us that there is a parallel, something always for something which is beyond it is ineffable, beyond really touch. There is something parallel to that in this material world that you can just compare, and with understanding that parallel, you can understand the one that is beyond us. In my opinion, the best parallel, the best thing, that example that we can describe when we are talking about vision is water. Water. Imagine if I show you a glass of water, or I ask you, what is water? Each one of you, based on your imagination, you will tell something. Water is fluid, water is, I don't know if you're thirsty, it's clear, it's this or that, based on that. A poet, however, will tell us about a river, will tell us about, or more imaginative, will tell us about a rainbow. Rainbow is the same water. Its best display. So the power of being able to see a rainbow in a glass of water is vision. That is the vision. That's what makes everything, the light makes everything, explains everything, understandable. And light is explaining water in a rainbow. But this understanding needs sight. It needs a special eyes. Abdul Baha, in his prayer, tells us, says, "Oh God, we are ignorant." We don't think we are ignorant. We think we know everything. He says, "Oh God, we are ignorant. Make us wise. We are dead. Make us alive. We are deprived. Make us intimate of the mysteries of God. Resuscitate us. Give us sight. Give us hearing." We all have sight. We have hearing. But he's praying. He says, we pray. He prays on our behalf to God. Give us sight. Give us hearing so that we can see things. Familiarize us with the mysteries of life. Mysteries of life. The famous Persian poet Sohrab Sepehri has a very beautiful poem. He says, "آفتابی لب درگاه شماست که اگر در بگشایید به رفتار شما میتابد. There is a sunshine on the verge of your threshold. There is a sunshine on the verge of your threshold, which if you open wide your door, will illumine your life. In the years that I was in Haifa, busy with the construction of the Ark and terraces, we were extremely busy. We didn't have time for anything. We were so day and night working, 16 hours a day, work very hard on our NIS plan. Right at that time, this famous Harry Potter book came out. Now, I was, for a person that always wrote stories for children, it was very interesting for me that a book comes out that sells at that time 60 million copies. Later on, it sold 160 million copies, and now 400 million copies. Why? There is a reason why this book is selling that much. Hans Christian Andersen, the greatest writer of children, his books have not sold 20 million copies. What is the reason? So I was really, as much as I was busy with the construction and all of that, I made a point to read all of the volumes of Harry Potter to see what it says. Why? Why people read it? Why people buy it? All children, all of that 400 million are not children, believe me. Some of them are as old as me. They read. But when I read the book, I realized, to my, of course, understanding, my way of interpretation, this book is talking about, it says that there are two types of people in this world: muggles and wizards. Muggles are people with no imagination, black and white, everything boring, everything realistic, everything just 1 + 1 = 2. Wizards are people full of dreams and imagination. They live together, they live side by side, but they don't see each other. They don't recognize each other. They are living, they go to the same underground subway station, they go in the same, they go through, but they don't see each other. Muggles. I realized that, people of the world are mostly muggles, of course. But all of them, they love to be wizard. That's why they read Harry Potter. It gives them a feeling that, you see, they can break out of these things. Now, then I realized, when I was 5 years old, my mother and father, based on one of the plans of Beloved Guardian, they went to a pioneering post at the middle of the most miserable place on earth. The Kabir Lut is the hottest place on earth. There are parts of this desert that is 70 degrees Celsius. Arizona goes to 45, 46 degrees Celsius. This is 70 degrees Celsius. So, and it's the center of ignorance, of fanaticism, Muslims killing each other. Right at the time that we were there, different sects of Islam were killing each other, tearing each other. Often, when we were going to some corner, my father would keep us, said, don't come, wait till he would go and check to see if there are some dead bodies or somebody killed a body there, because often you would see this kind of criminal acts from these people. Baha'is were not allowed in the city. Several attempts of Beloved Guardian to open a spiritual assembly in this city of Gunabad failed. All of the members, there were 9 members, one of those waves was our family and several other families to which I will refer some of them. And all of them, either some of them were killed, some of them, their houses was burned, they were thrown out, and they had to leave the city. I know a secret that today there is only one Baha'i in that city, that nobody knows she is a Baha'i. Only one. From the same families that still is living there. I was told by her son that is in Australia, that my mother still is Gorawa. Now, in this place, Baha'is, they did not rent us any house. We could not buy anything. We were just living there. There was an opium farm, a poppy farm. At that time, opium grew freely in the city and even by government. Now, and we had, at the middle of this poppy farm, there was a haunted house. I said haunted because somebody built a house and some disease came and most of the members of the family died. So people thought that this house is cursed. So they said, if Baha'is, they want to rent this house, you're welcome. We rented that house. So we lived in that house. And all of my childhood, those years, I could not come. During the days, me and my sister that were young, very small, could not come out of the house. We were in that house. And only my older brother, that at that time was 10 years older than me, he was 15 years old, would go to school. And one day on the way to school, he was attacked and stabbed several parts of his body. And then they threw him in a well. They thought he's dead. He survived many years. But anyhow, that's another story. Now, I'm trying just to, you imagine this city, this kind of people. Right at this middle of this, at nights, at evenings, Baha'is, these 9 Baha'is that they were there, would come through dark of the night. They would come to the farm, and so that nobody will notice them, they would come to our home, or sometimes we would go to the home of other Baha'is. And I was child, I used to sit on the lap of my father and listen to these people talking about unity of mankind. Oh my God, what mankind? There is no human here. And what kind of unity of mankind? What these people, even Muslims are killing Muslims. All of them, all the sects are against the Baha'is. So what you're talking about? And they were imagining sitting there saying prayers of Baha'u'llah, talking about the world that comes. My God, who is wizard? Who is wizard? Who are Mughals? These people sitting right at the middle of this crowd of Mughals, nobody sees them. They don't see them. They come, they go, they leave, they are there. And you know, I didn't want to show any slides today, but tomorrow when I show a slide, at the beginning of my slides, I will show the picture of this man that I'm talking about. There was one man in that place. We called him Amu, uncle, Mirza Nazar Ali. I knew that he's blind. He was blind as a child. I was very, children, for us, it was very interesting that he's blind, cannot see anything. And then later on, I understood that he lost his eyes because they attacked him by brick. They hit him in his head, and he lost his sight. Also, when we were there, right at that period, they martyred his nephew because he had come. He was under protection of his brother, 2 Ruhi brothers. Their name was Ruhi, surname was Ruhi. The older brother was taking care of this younger brother that was blind with their children. All of them were in our group, and they had some young children that we were playing together. This man that had lost his eyes right in that place, eventually he was one of the people that would come and say a prayer there and say, so they threw him out all of us. They threw us out of that city. Many years later, I was 20 years old when the National Youth Committee of Iran asked me to go to a city in north of Iran, border of Russia, to meet with the youth there and just have so there was a sort of convention type of 20, 30 youth would sit together, and somebody had come to inspire you. So I had gone there. When I went to this place, this is a very cold place. There was a very heavy snow in a way that all the roads got blocked and I could not go back. And many of the youth could not come. Only handful of youth, 4 or 5 people, some youth would come to that meeting. We would go. There was a huge amount of snow. With difficulty, we would go in. Every day that we went to this meeting, we sat there. Every day, you could hear. And a man comes with a stick, the old blind uncle. He has gone after pioneering in Gonabad. He has gone to another pioneering post, another miserable center of Mughals. And he was there, and he was loved by all the people. They told me that if people, non-Baha'is, they have a dispute and they need a judge, they go to him, to uncle, and he's there. And you know, friends, he stayed there till few years ago, and he was supported by his nephew, the son of the other brother that had died, Dr. Manuchehr Ruhi. Dr. Manuchehr Ruhi was martyred a few years ago, and I never heard from uncle. I don't know where he is. He passed away. But you tell me, who is wizard? Harry Potter or Amu? The man who is blind by these people. Yet he has gone there to tell them about unity of mankind. About one magnificent vision that Baha'u'llah brought to these people. Brought to this world of Mughals. He told us to be wizard. O son of wondrous vision. و من عزت بی زوال برای تو اختیار نمودم و تو ذلت بی منتها برای خود پسندیدی. I desire the best for you. This is what you have chosen for yourself. I desire distinction for you, Abdul Baha says. The Baha'is must be distinguished from others of humanity, but this distinction must not depend upon wealth. I do not desire for you financial distinction. It is not an ordinary distinction I desire, not scientific, commercial, industrial distinction. For you, I desire a spiritual distinction. To what language you want him to tell you that I want you to be wizard? You must become distinguished for loving humanity. Impossible. It's rainbow. You go through the rainbow. It is impossible. Unity of mankind is the greatest vision ever spoken in this world. Going to Mars is 10 times, 100 times easier than unity of mankind. That Baha'u'llah chose as one great vision for his wizards. But one cannot, it's impossible to describe vision. You know why? Because vision is seen. Dr. Dawoodi, our great teacher of many of us, all of us, we love Dr. Dawoodi, has said beautiful word. He said that to see everything, you see light. You need light. To see everything, you need light. Only thing that you don't need, it doesn't need anything, is light itself. Light doesn't need anything. It's visible. It doesn't need to be described by something else. All other things needs to be described by light, other than light. Everything in this world needs to be interpreted by our vision, other than vision, that exists. It is there. It does not need to be described. So I cannot tell you what it is, what material, what shape. This magnificent cause of Baha'u'llah, from the first day, has gone forward by the people of vision, by the magnificent people of vision. I have built temple, so everything that I talk, it goes back to temple. You know who built the first ever temple of Baha'u'llah? And you know what material he used to build it? Crystal. Mullah Reza Muhammad Abadi Yazdi was a ordinary villager from city of Yazd. I always argued with Mr. Tarzadeh. Mr. Tarzadeh always talked as if the Yazd is center of universe. But I was telling him that Yazd by itself was, there are some people here that they confirm that Yazd was center of universe. He always said that Yazd was center of universe, but I always reminded him, Mr. Tarzadeh, believe me, I have visited Yazd several times. I went everywhere. It was a very just humble place. It's not that big. But now, he was a villager of that humble city, Mullah Reza Muhammad Abadi Yazdi. He was a Babi. There was another friend of him, Razarruh. We have here some of my beloved friends, Mr. Fauzi, that knows family of Razarruh and all of that. Razarruh was a Babi who went to meet Baha'u'llah when he had come from Sulaymaniyah. He went and met Baha'u'llah, but he did not recognize, Baha'u'llah had not declared at that time. He did not recognize Baha'u'llah. He came back. He came back and was talking to Mullah Reza Muhammad Abadi Yazdi about, and he mentioned Qasideh Az-Warqa'iyah, that Baha'u'llah has revealed a poem, and he just read few lines of that poem. Mullah Reza immediately said, this is the promised one. This is the word of promised one. He immediately recognized. He became Baha'i. Later on, Razarruh also became Baha'i. This man, from the day that he became Baha'i till end of his life, he was from one prison to another prison. When he died, he was declared hand of the cause of God. But he died in prison. In prison, he had a dream. He had a vision. He told to his his companions in prison. He told them that the time has come for us to build the first temple of Baha'u'llah. And he said that this temple should be with crystal, with blue. I bet if you search entire Muhammadabad, that village that he was living, you will not find 5 pieces of crystal. But he was talking about building. Today, architects do not yet visualize a building with crystal. But he said it should be with crystal. He said it needs columns 95 meters high. 95 meters high with crystal. And gates 9 meters high with gold. Now look at the imagination. Not only that, now once when he was out of prison, people non-Baha'is that they realized that he's doing something suspicious. So they followed him everywhere. He had gone at the middle of nowhere, somewhere that nobody will see him. He had found a big piece of land. He had thought that it's time for me to do something about that temple. He so much believed in his vision that he thought that whole conquerors on high are going to come and help me. So he went and he bought a piece of land at the middle of nowhere, and then he started developing this in a way. And when they attacked him, they came and they searched everywhere. They found hundreds of tools that he had collected and put there. All sorts of tools that when conquerors on high, they come to help him, they have tools. And when they were grabbing him out of his land to go to take him to prison, he looked back and he said, there will be another time. I am 100% sure there will be magnificent, beautiful temples of crystal in future. It will be built. Temples with crystal. But the first Baha'i temple with crystal is already built by him in the history of our faith, and forever it will be there. But his vision. Abul Faza'il was in prison together with him. And whenever, Abdul Baha said this story, he said, whenever we ask Abul Faza'il to say something about your prison, he turned it to talking about Mullah Muhammad Reza. And he said, he was the man. He was the man that was really flag of Baha'u'llah in prison, not us. Who is the wizard? Vision direct us in life. Vision and imagination show us things to do. There is a beautiful story of Amatul Baharuya Khanum has written about that, about Miss Martarut. Miss Martarut was an old lady, dressed very ordinary and a bit out of fashion. But she was so bold that she went and met all of the rulers of the world, kings, queens. Nobody could stop her. But she was just a very ordinary person. And often sick, often very limited from every possibility that was needed at that time. Khanum has said that once Martarut came to Montreal, and at that time the first Baha'i the first radio of Montreal had been started. And Miss Martarut said, I want to go and meet and have interview with this radio. Khanum has written that my mother believed that anything that Miss Martarut says, we have to take action, and she wanted her to be happy. So, because she knew the love of beloved guardian for Miss Martarut, how much praise beloved guardian has had about Miss Martarut. So she said that she was doing everything. And she said she had bought a bouquet of beautiful flowers, lilies of the famous flower of Holland, tulips. You can realize, I just beginning of Alzheimer, don't worry. This tulip, she had bought a big bouquet of tulip and put it right in front, at the entrance of the house for her. Now, Miss Martarut insisted we have to go and meet this person. And we were very, a bit concerned. This is a very sophisticated guy, and this is a new radio, and Mrs. Martarut. Miss Martarut is not that, well, but she said she's insisting that we have to go, so we arranged that we go there. And as she said we were going out of the house, she pulled one of these tulips out and kept it in her hand, and we went to this place. Now we went to this place, and really very suspicious that we are not going to have much reception. And she said, even when she took this tulip, I said, you don't give one flower to someone if that someone is the head of the first radio of Canada and doesn't have much. You may give one flower to your mother, to your loved one, or whatever, but not to that kind of things. This is Canada, and there are formalities. She said, as we went into the room, this man was sitting there, very serious and very, and Miss Martha Ruth went forward and just gave her this tulip. And this man, she said, took the tulip and started crying. Said, we were just shocked. My God, what happened? What happened? She said, he said that, how did you know that I am from Holland? And today I was so homesick for my country, and I was thinking about it, and you see, just like that. I'm saying, this is the vision. This is the vision. Why she picked it like that? Why all of that? It's just an accident like that. And she said that he opened his heart, sat with Miss Martha Ruth for long time, and lecture and interview and all of that. All went so well just because of that one tulip. Now, not only Abdul Baha wants us to be wizard, but he also has given us the magic spell for being a wizard. Because you know that Harry Potter also always has to spell something. You have to say something, and you have to have a wand. You have to have it. Abdul Baha says, look at that. Is this not, in your opinion, is not a spell? Ya Baha'ul Abha. In that cry, this is from Abdul Baha. In that cry are the cries of the universe sounded, and the chord of the divine reality struck. The shout of Ya Baha'ul Abha in this day of the birth is more profit unto thee than all knowledge of the sciences and all the wealth of the earth. It is the rhythm of progress, the chord of creation, the melody of eternity, and the password to the kingdom of God. Password to the kingdom of God. That means you just say that, the door opens. هنری لانگفلو said, شقایق محبت را در دست گیر، در بازه‌های آهنین مقاومت نتوانند کرد. Hold the tulip of love in your hand. The brass gates of the world will not stand in front of it. He says this, Ya Baha'ul Abha is the. Therefore, use it to establish thyself in the realm of divine trust. Speak it in thy solitude. Cry it in thy joy. Murmur it in thy grief, and chant it in thy weakest moments. And it shall give thee strength. It is the cry that brings the supreme concourse to the door of thy life, and stations the love of Abha above thy soul of trust. It opens the heavens of mysteries. Shout of Ya Baha'ul Abha. It opens the heavens of mysteries, colors the riddles of life. It absorbs all, inscribbles all, includes all. The word of that praise, O glory of God, is to sing in harmony to supreme concourse of song, and harmonize thyself with the holy I Am in his court of divine omnipotent truth. It holds all there is of substance and all there is of form, and all there is of a spirit, and all there is in the world of creative thought. The greatest name carries the highest vibrations. The vibrations produce a spiritual world, the vibration of the utterance, either mental or orally. Even if you think about it or mention it, mental or orally, produces a spiritual result, regardless of the thought. Ya Baha'ul Abha. This is word of Abdul Baha. In an interview with CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Television, Radio, they asked me, is this correct if we say Baha'is worship beauty? I said, at the risk of completely misunderstanding the Baha'i faith, I say yes, it's true. Because we believe in Jamal Mubarak, the blessed beauty. The name of our God is beauty. Baha'u'llah says, "O my Lord, make thy beauty my food." O my Lord, make thy beauty my food. In a conference in the very famous American-Israeli architect Moshe Safdie, one of the most famous architects of the world. In his talk, he said, I am so impressed to see that there is a religion that the name of their God is beauty, Jamal. Then he talked about Baha'is. He said, I was so inspired in my vision, in my profession, in architecture, because I lived in city of Haifa. I was born in city of Haifa. And I always visited Shrine of the Bab and the Baha'i gardens. And I saw that the people come to worship in the garden and to worship the blessed beauty. I think Baha'u'llah wants us to be the greatest dreamer of this world. That's why he brought our greatest dream, unity of mankind. He wants us to be so, to understand and immerse our life with his beauty, with this distinction that he mentioned. And he wants us to change the world of muggles to the world of wizards. And he says, don't worry if your number is limited. Don't worry if you are limited number and the number of muggles are in billions and millions. Because one drop of this really majestic alchemy will change the entire mountain to gold. And that is what he wants us to do. And if we don't do that, if we don't raise and become real wizards and try to take over the world from the Mughals, the Black Lord is going to take the world. The one that is taking it already. It's going everywhere. It's going to get. We have no choice. We cannot go back. We cannot say, no, leave it. It's not, we cannot. We have to stick to that. We have to listen. And we have to realize that Baha'u'llah says, all of the conquerors of high are standing on queue to support you. In one of my talks in these 3 days, I will mention stories of this kind of the concourse on high on the queue, to see how things have worked. When I was in a conference, in New York conference, many years ago in that Baha'i International Congress, I really wished that all of those old Baha'is like Uncle that I mentioned, that in that city they lived and they dreamed and they were talking and they said, oh, everything is impossible, would watch and look and see that 30,000 people from all over the world, all races, all colors, all religions are here standing here on the way. You know, when it's really, this is what we can see in our own eyes. We have seen it. Unfortunately, Uncle is dead. He's not alive. Those people that they gave their life, they are martyrs, they have gone. They are not here with us to see it. They are watching it from Upper Kingdom. But we are the one who are here, and we are the one who are going to see that it will happen. All we need to do is to trust that our vision is a vision, that it is a rainbow, that we can eventually go in it. It's possible. Even if you are 65 years old, still it will be possible. If one day it will be possible. So we have to do it, and we have to stick to that and know. Otherwise, this world will be taken over by muggles like that. Oh, you remember that some time ago, a doctor from United States spent time, went all the way to Africa to kill one of the 60 lions that are still alive with a bow, and kill and bring the skin. Look at that. Because we did not raise the voice of teachings of Baha'u'llah. You know, Al Gore, the famous Al Gore, the vice president of United States and a candidate for government, in a magnificent book that he has written, he says, let me see, one of the newest of great, this is Earth in the Balance, the name of the book, Earth in the Balance, by Al Gore. He says, one of the newest of great religions, universal religions, Baha'i, founded in 1863 in Persia, warns us to properly regards relationship between civilization and the environment. He says this is in this book, he says the Baha'i faith is one of the rare religions that in the context of their teachings talks about protection of environment. Our message is so advanced. It's so advanced. It's not what just we keep, we keep it to ourselves and we say. I don't know how much time we have. 10 minutes. We think that the teachings of Baha'u'llah brought his message and this vision, how many years ago? 160 years ago. John Lennon is one of the gods of the new generations. Yes? Look at that. His imagination. The famous song of John Lennon, Imagine. Imagine all the people living life in peace. Imagine there is no country, no possession, no need, no greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say, I am a dreamer, but I am not the only one. No, because all the Baha'is are dreaming the same way. Hope someday you join us. Then he hopes someday people become Baha'i. And the world will be as one. This is, people of this world, they beg for this. They love this. And this is the message of Baha'u'llah. The world is one. Only they will discover it when John Lennon says. Because we have not told them. I hope our dream we will not give up our dream. And I want to conclude my talk with this dream of Abdul Baha. It says, the Lord of all mankind had fashioned this human realm to be a garden of Eden, an earthly paradise. If as it must, it findeth the way to harmony and peace, to love and mutual trust, it will become a true abode of bliss, a place of manifold blessings and unending delights. Therein shall be revealed the excellence of humankind. Therein shall the therein shall the days of the sun of truth shine forth on every hand. Just imagine the day that this dream of Abdul Baha will come true, and this world will become like a heavenly paradise. And let people think that we are just dreaming, and we are just dreamers, as the people of that city of Gunabad always taught, and as we all were told in all of the schools that Persian friends have gone, if those that have gone to school in Iran, how many times everybody told us that yes, these are all right, but it's not possible. They are not possible. It's not possible. Always they said. But this is the dream of Baha'u'llah, and certainly will come